I've done the cities, I've done the teams. Now I will narrow it down even further and give you the top 10 worst seasons in sports history. Ranging from the 4 major US sports, these 10 seasons will be chosen by the team's struggle in management, their injuries, and of course, the losing. This is simply my opinion, and let's begin. Number 10, 2004 Diamondbacks. In 2001, the Arizona Diamondbacks miraculously won the World Series with Randy Johnson at pitcher, but a mere 3 seasons later, everything went downhill. The Arizona Diamondbacks owner, Jerry Colangelo, was delayed to pay some of the players' salaries, and the team was soon $150 million in debt. Many of the talented players left, marking one of the biggest free falls in baseball history. This led to a horrible 2004 season, where the D-backs lost 111 games, held a run differential of -284, and a 14-game losing streak. Number 9, 76 Buccaneers. In 1976, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were one of 2 teams expanded in the NFL. With Steve Spurrier at QB, Tampa had high hopes, and what the city received was an undefeated season with losses. For their first 26 games, the Creamsicle Bucks lost every single one of them, even entering the end of their second season. In their 0-14 start, the Bucks experienced 5 shutouts, an average of less than 9 points per game, and a point differential of -287. Number 8, 35 Braves. As Babe Ruth was nearing the end of his career, the 40-year-old decided to have a redemption trial after joining the Braves. But it seems Ruth had lost his touch on the diamond, as the Braves experienced a horrid 38-win, 115-loss season. The year was so bad that heavy drinker Babe Ruth retired mid-season. Number 7, 2018 Orioles. Let's head to the recent era of baseball, where the Baltimore Orioles are rebuilding. However, their 2018 campaign was far worse than any rebuilding season, as a team holding Chris Davis with a big contract heavily underperformed. In the season, the Orioles went 47-111, one of the worst in MLB history.
The Red Sox hammer the Orioles 19-3.
And the Yankees go on to win Game 1 by a final of 10-3.
And the Mets have opened up a 10-1 lead.
Number 6, 92 NHL season. In 1992, the NHL received not 1, but 2 bad teams in the same season. One was the San Jose Sharks, who went 11 wins and 71 losses in their second season in the league. The other was the Ottawa Senators, who went 10 wins and 70 losses in their first season in the NHL. The 2 pretty new franchises had a lot of optimism coming into the season, but ended up bottom of the barrel. Also, the 2 times they met, the Sharks and Senators split wins. Number 5, 2015 76ers. In 1973, the Sixers won a mere 9 games, a franchise worst. But the Sixers had an even greater disappointment in 2015 when they won just 10 games. The team was already struggling, sure, with injuries and poor management. 3rd overall pick Joel Embiid, with a master's degree in flopping, couldn't play the entire season due to a foot injury, which brought in more inexperienced players. Philadelphia, as a result, opened with an 18-game losing streak and ended with 72. They drafted Ben Simmons 1st overall the following year, who unfortunately is mentally afraid to shoot. Number 4, 2003 Tigers. Prior to the 03 season, these 2 teams held the most losses in a season in MLB history. However, decades later, Detroit would give them a run for their money after winning an awful 43 out of 162 games. Bad drafting, bad management, lack of talent, and injuries led to Detroit's lackluster season. And before the last 6 games of the season, the Tigers were on the road to have the most losses in MLB history, 2 losses behind the Mets. However, Detroit won 5 of their last 6 games, not tying for the most losses and reaching the World Series in their later years. Number 3, 2008 Lions. For yet another Detroit franchise, their season ended in train wreck. This time, the long-suffering Lions with QB Dan Orlovsky. The embarrassing season also included an average of 32 points that their opponents scored on the Lions per game.
On his way to the house. Here's Collins down the right sideline. Touchdown, Nick Collins.
Or by himself in the backfield.
They give it to Frank. He sweeps to the left. Oh, a nice block. What a block by Staley. Up the middle, cut to the right, down to the 10, down to the 5, and run out of bounds or near the sideline.
Snap to Orlovsky. He's back to pass. He ran out of the end zone, safety. Dan Orlovsky forced out of the end zone by an on-charging Jared Allen. 2-0 Vikings.
The Lions drafted QB Matthew Stafford the following year. Number 2, 2012 Bobcats. Once the Charlotte Bobcats reached the mid-2000s, they became a very lackluster team. Barely staying above 500 and failing to improve year after year, they would become the joke of the NBA. However, once they reached the 2012 season with an inexperienced crew, they reached a whole new low. In 66 games, the Bobcats won a mere 7. Oh, and also, they only had 7 games that reached over 99 points. As they ended the season with 23 consecutive losses, Bobcat fans should be thankful that the lockdown cut their season short. Before we see number 1, it's time for the honorable mentions. Number 1, 2017 Browns. In 2016, the Cleveland Browns started their season with 14 consecutive losses before finally pulling off a win in Week 16. However, what could have been a winless season finally came upon the Browns the following season, after losing 16 games in a row. This included Hugh Jackson coaching, a point differential of -176, and struggling QBs which threw for more interceptions and touchdowns. This disastrous season embarrassed the entire Cleveland franchise and finally legitimized them as a joke of the league. But anyway, that's a list, the worst seasons in sports. Hope you enjoyed and see you in the next one.